Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker announces a new fund with the goal of strengthening infrastructure and resources for the state's reproductive health care ecosystem. Called the Prairie State Access Fund, it connects donor support with organizations that protect and expand reproductive health access across Illinois. The move comes after Governor Pritzker claims the Trump administration leads an all-out assault on abortion and gender-affirming care.
As one of the very few states in the middle of the country that's protecting the right to comprehensive reproductive care, Illinois is supporting care for people who often have nowhere else to turn. These are not just words. The data shows this. Illinois receives more people from other states seeking abortions than any other state in the nation.